ready, true believers? Capcom and Marvel have joined forces once again to bring you in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Don't miss out on the enjoyment of a lifetime. Don't miss the most amazing tag team fighting game ever. Are you ready for a new challenger? Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter!
So let's have a little bit of a history lesson. The Marvel vs. Capcom series actually doesn't start with the first game, Marvel vs. Capcom. It starts earlier. Capcom actually licensed out some of the Marvel characters to make a game called X-Men Children of the Atom, which is a 2D fighting game, sort of like Street Fighter Alpha, but with the X-Men characters. After that, they expanded with not just the X-Men, but Marvel characters in Marvel Superheroes, which featured all kinds of superheroes from the Marvel Universe. So there's Wolverine along with Captain America and Spider-Man and the likes of that. But the first game people have in the Marvel vs. series is X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which, as the name implies, has X-Men characters versus Street Fighter. The second one is this game, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. So one of the things that makes Marvel vs. Capcom 1, 2, and 3, for that matter, pretty cool is tag team fighting, and it starts here pretty much. So instead of just one-on-one fights, you actually have two-on-two fights. This changes up everything for a fighting game, because it's not just, my Ryu can beat his Wolverine by using this strategy, but now you have a whole extra character to take care of, and one for you to use yourself. So it makes battles a lot more dynamic and a lot more intense. Also, everything is much more fast-paced, so you're not really just waiting around, charging a meter, or landing an attack. You can jump in quick, switch out characters, and fight, much faster than you could in Street Fighter games. The only problem here is this PlayStation port doesn't have any of that. So I was reading online, and apparently it's a lack of RAM that actually doesn't make it so you can use two-player versus two-player fights. It's just one-on-one, kind of like a regular old Street Fighter game. Now, this does take away a lot from the game, because two-on-two fighting pretty much made everything awesome. So, you might be saying, without the tag team modes, what do we actually have? Well, unfortunately, it's not much. So you've got your basic story mode, which goes through 6 rounds of one-on-one fighting with your assist characters. Then you fight Apocalypse, who, as far as I can recall, is only in this game and X-Men Children of the Atom, so I don't know why he hasn't come back in another Marvel fighting game. But you fight him, and then after that you fight the exclusive character, Cyber Akuma, who is only in this game. It's a version of Akuma that's like Shin Akuma from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but he's been enhanced with robotic parts from Apocalypse. Now, I think he's pretty cheap, but it's cool to see him in this game, the only time you can actually see him. But outside of story mode, you have a hero battle mode or something like that, where you pick a side, either Marvel Superheroes or Street Fighter, and you take all of those characters and fight the entire other side, the other cast, just to sort of see who's best. Ultimately, it just boils down to a survival mode, so there's not much extra there. And then there's your standard training mode, but outside of that, there's nothing else to do. So really, you're going to be done with the game fairly quickly unless you want to see everyone's ending, which isn't necessary. So really, it's just another fighting game. But as you can tell from the things you've been watching, I'm sure you can see that things look really gorgeous in the background. Well, yeah, it's a little pixelated because it's on the PlayStation, but the colors are beautiful, the characters animate well, things look big and they're bright. It's a good-looking fighting game. There's definitely palette swaps here from other games, namely X-Men vs. Street Fighter before this one, but it all still looks really good. I think it would benefit from a HD remake, mainly because these games are hard to find. So having them reprinted again for a budget price might be a good idea, so you could at least see what things look like, but everything looks good still. Outside of that, there are options for different control methods, so you can actually put in an easy mode or a beginner's mode, so instead of actually having to put in button combinations to do moves like Hadoukens and Shoryukens, you can just tap buttons, and eventually you go into combos that end in those moves. So make sure that new players can actually handle the game when expert players are playing as well. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is really a mixed bag. I mean, the tag team fighting is cool, but without it being in the PlayStation version, there's really no reason to have this. Now, the Sega Saturn version in Japan actually does have the tag team fights, but it's only the Japanese version, so unless you're going to get a Japanese Sega Saturn, you're not going to be able to play it. If you see the game, it is getting kind of expensive nowadays. I'm sure you can check eBay and see some of the prices, but it's worth it to look at, and if you see the arcade machine, it's definitely worth a play.